cannot say we're original talking about AI, I know, but I think we have a very original panel because, first of all, we've started companies and built businesses that have proven quite resilient. I think between the four of us, we average about 15 years of age for the companies we started, so that's an achievement. And I think we're also original in the main question we're trying to assess today, and maybe we'll get into business models too. But we're going to wonder about how can we build with AI in a way that serves the people we're designing for, right? Which is not a question that is asked in most panels lately. So let me start by doing a quick introduction, just to give you guys some context about the panelists and their companies. Let's start with you, Nestor. Okay. Co-founder of Globan back in 2003. Yep. You're the oldest. Company. And Globan started from Argentina to outsource software to the world. Yep. Has become a unicorn since then, and one of the, I guess, success cases in business from Latin America. Yep. At the forefront of innovation also in AI, and one of the areas that AI is transforming the most, which is software development. Mm-hmm. Paige, co-founder of, I'm going to say it well, Prefixbox. There you go. Which started back in 2014 in Hungary. And they offer search engines and discovery solutions for e-retailers out of Hungary in another area that AI is completely changing, which is how do we discover products online? And then Chema started Quona back in 2013 out of Mexico. These guys had or used neural networks way before Gen AI was a thing to help brands, mostly retailers and CPG companies, with promotions, optimization of pricing, and demand forecasting, right? That's it. And me, Noelia, I started MediaSmart back in 2012 here in Madrid, and it is still a platform in ad tech, helping advertisers buy media in real time. I sold the company and left, and now I work with AI startups and companies deploying AI, hopefully, to help them create more solutions than problems with AI. And delighted to be with you. Let's now get into the subject, but maybe with an introductory question, yeah? Okay, sure. I'm sure, like me, you follow the waves of how much do I use AI in my pitch, because it may be fashionable or not fashionable. At least I've gone through several of those phases. Now, obviously, AI needs to be in the label for anything to seem innovative. So I'd like you to be honest. Like, what is generative AI, the latest wave of AI, really changing in your products? Is there anything you had to build from scratch? Anything that you're keeping and not touching? And if we can just do, just no more than 2 minutes as an introduction, and whichever of you can start.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Yep. So from our side, as you hinted in the introduction, the way people are buying online is changing, and it's going to start changing even faster, that people are looking for conversational experiences. In the past, you were trained to distill a thought into a keyword, search for that, and that's how you interacted both on Google and on e-commerce stores. But now people are learning the other way, to express full thoughts, and that's how you actually talk to technology in your computer. And so this is changing what's happening in retail. So for us, where we were coming from a search engine background, powering search engines and product discovery in that way, we had to build a whole new line of product to facilitate this conversational experience, because that's what our clients, the retailers, are expecting in order to provide that kind of experience for their shoppers. So we almost have now, we're running two companies, one, the old SaaS business with our search, and now the new AI company with our AI agent. So we had to completely build a new line of product while integrating AI, of course, into the search engine so that it stays relevant and still keeps returning results that both the retailers expect and the shoppers expect.
So you have two it's not that there's anything wrapped on the search engine, it's you keep the search engine and then build a separate product.
Right, we also were using neural networks back in the day also, and now more is possible with NLP and these kind of things, so that's integrated into the search engine. But the more AI trendy topic is the AI agent, because everyone is looking for agents, agentic commerce. How can you use agents in your business?
Okay. You want to go, Chema?
Sure. So in our case, we've been doing AI, building AI since 2017. So what we create is our own neural networks that optimize this pricing and promotions. But now with this new wave, what we're doing is we have our own agent that uses the metadata created by our proprietary models for those, in order for this agent to interact and help our customers in a more seamless way. Because before, the world used to work in terms of dashboards and these kind of things, and now you can just ask the agent, and the agent will give you the answer and incorporate into your own processes. So in the end, it's a facilitator. It doesn't solve the end problem because we were solving it before, but now it's easier to solve and helping them do that. Yeah.
Well, we at Globan have been using machine learning and artificial intelligence, let's say, since 10 years ago. In the last 3 years, we start using generative AI very strongly and we almost redefine all of our software development lifecycle. You know, the chatbots are quite good writing code. In fact, there are a lot of people like myself, I am an engineer, that are rekindle our relationship with programming, let's say, because it is quite easy to program in any language almost, or using a paradigm of programming that I don't fully study. But writing software is much more than writing code. It's a process very complex, and our company is a B2B company. It's a B2B provider. So our customers, which are big companies, couldn't deliver a product and make them work in their infrastructure just using vibe coding. You know, it's quite difficult, and we redesign all of our projects because you need to have a lot of consensus inside the stakeholder of the company, from the visual representation of your product, the coding standard that the product is using, the regulatory compliance that the product needs to comply inside your customer. So it is quite difficult to do that, and I think that there are a lot of opportunities still for using AI and revamping our own process to apply that to B2B.
Okay, so if I can summarize, you're using AI to actually write the code, and and in your company you use generative AI to write maybe sometimes deterministic code, I guess.
Yes.
In my experience, I've seen companies do that. I guess software is one of the areas where AI has been fastest adopted. Also, I think it helps with the speed of building other products. Yes. Like I know companies, for example, that build knowledge bases, right? They could, do now in minutes what they could do in hours or even days before, right? Which is great if you're building a product, maybe not so much if you're billing by the hour. But then we're using AI to put on top of maybe more traditional products to help users interact with it more easily, or maybe I've seen it also to reach a wider audience, right? Maybe before your product could be used by a very specific set of experts, and now it can be more widely used.
Democratizes, right?
Exactly. And then Paige, sometimes you're forced by the ecosystem, right? Now if it's, agents are being required. That's what you need to do. I work with a client, for example, that used to evaluate AI systems in production for a long time, and now they've had to develop a whole new product around LLMs, because so many of the systems that are out there are based on LLMs that now they need to have LLMs as judges, right? So there are many reasons why I think in many cases we're not building from scratch, but also complementing existing products or building other types of products faster. Now, with this context, Let's get a little bit into the nitty-gritty of our question, right? So how do we develop systems that serve the people that we design them for? Or how do we ensure that, right? Maybe we can start with you, Chema, because you offer a B2B solution, right? But that B2B solution is touching users as well. And in a particular area, where when we're talking about serving people, if you're personalizing promotions or prices, there's often a thread that is quite thin between personalization and discrimination, right? So how do you manage, the duality between designing for the companies, which are your clients, the users, and do you take this line into account at all in how you develop?
Yeah, for sure. In terms of pricing, there are regulatory things, so you have to bind by those things. But what we tend to do, and we work the most, is with promotions. Mm-hmm. So what happens is 80% of promotions that are launched to the market lose money. Companies lose money when they launch these promotions. So what we're helping them is create more promotions, but promotions that are profitable for them. So what ends up happening is that these companies know where to put the money, and in the end, you have more promotions, and in the end, the consumer gets more benefit. So that's kind of the way we in the end try to help the end consumer, because they put the money where it works. Because in some 30% of promotions, not only do they don't even create additional volume, you don't sell more. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of waste of resources there. So we focus a lot on that. Also, in terms of our agents, our machine learning models or our generative, our own models, they are very they give you a number, right? But when you get into the agents, they hallucinate. So what we have, and you don't want them hallucinating in terms of pricing or in terms of these kind of things. So we try to constrain these models, and also whenever we show our end users the product, we try to show them the train of thought, how the model reached that answer, so that they can also create their own judgment and say, okay, the agent is giving me this number, and I trust it, right? Rather than just receive a number, hey, let's launch that number into the market and let's see what happens, right?
And how do they know they can trust it?
Well, these type of companies typically start small. You can start in a region of a country or some stores, and it works, and then you scale it up, right? Because you shouldn't do these kind of things right off the bat, because there are millions of dollars at stake when you
right. But how, and maybe, I think it's similar to you guys, to you, Paige, because you talk about hallucinations, and when you're offering an agent to a customer also, right? You don't want it to give prices or products that don't exist. So you were mentioning you guardrail or constrain it.
Yeah.
How do you do that, and how well it works?
Well, it works in the end, the machine learning, it would give you a recommendation, this is the optimal mix of promotions that will maximize traffic to the store, revenue, profits, whichever you're looking. So that's a number that has an accuracy. So you have 10%.
Right. And that is your own model.
Yeah, that's our own model. But then when you get into the agents, you have to try to, because in the end, you can ask the agent, which is the best promotion that I should be launching if I want to maximize profits, and it will give you an answer right off the bat. But you need to, but the way we constrain it is by showing, in the past you've done this, and it transformed into this. You have to give these explanations to the company so that they make this decision.
So if there's an error, they realize it because the explanation, they should see something wrong with the explanation.
In the end, yeah.
Okay.
In the end, we just show them the step-by-step how we reach that number.
Okay. And how about you, Paige? Because you're having an agent that deals directly with customers. I've read a lot of horror stories about companies having to pay money to users because the agent said something wrong. Obviously, the liability is still with the company. How do you see that happening with your agent, or what steps, any learnings on how you manage to minimize that, or what's your experience?
So I guess for context for everyone, we have an agent that we sell to retailers like Alcampo, Carrefour, that's used by us, the end users, as a shopper. So we have to position it both to the retailers and then to the shoppers, where it's going to meet both sets of expectations, where Sometimes they're not aligned because we see that businesses expect that their clients are going to use the agent in a specific way that it is not used. So for example, people will go to Alcampo and say, what does this product cost on a competitor? And of course you can't let it do that. So these guardrails are super important to provide an experience to our clients that it's going to deliver what they're looking for in this way. So our guardrails are super important. Also these POCs and pilots and a lot of testing. So we're reading the conversations. We have agents that read the agent's conversation to flag any suspicious messages, things that we need to check, looking for patterns because we have sometimes people who are asking for hotel recommendations. And this is a common pattern, so we need to make sure that it's not going to do anything when people are asking for this. So being really clear on what your agent needs to do and what it should not do and where those lines are, and communicating with our clients, it can do this, it cannot do this, and trying to set and manage these expectations in a way that the pilots can be successful, then you can roll them out to more countries and more domains, and having guardrails that you can trust that are going to not work. I think it's impossible at this point, we were talking earlier before this panel, to eliminate hallucinations. So when people are looking for a solution that does not hallucinate, this is not a realistic expectation because the technology isn't there now. So managing that and minimizing it, of course you can do that to where it's like 0.1% of conversations have a hallucination, and managing the expectations that both the people who use it, so in our case the shoppers, and the retailers who are buying the solution realize that this is the case, but it's not impacting the results that you get. It's not giving a bad user experience. They just say, oh, that didn't work. Can you try it again? They don't even notice what's happening. So in this case, it's a bit lower stakes than pricing, perhaps.
Right, and I guess there's this lower expectations on the side of the users also, because they're so used to interacting with chatbots that hallucinate, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, or the
and a 0.1% is not a problem when you're promoting, again, products. In other use cases, I would say it is more of a problem. My take is that it also, it's not only guardrails, but the way the guardrails are implemented that matter, because you mentioned rules. Right? But putting context in a skill or a document that is supposed to act as a guardrail for an LLM type of system, it's not really a rule. It may still hallucinate on those guardrails, right? So I think that's the complication of how do we close the system, and why I think sometimes we put a lot of energy in building, right? Because it's very easy to build. We can build very fast, but we forget that, you know, to close the loop and to ensure the systems continue to behave as we intended in the long run, it's a continuous effort that, you know, may slow us down a little bit. But Nestor, now you are doing something different. You are selling software. Tell us how do you manage this?
Globant being a B2B company, we don't have a relation with the final consumer, let's say. But in any case, we use our chatbots and artificial intelligence inside our own platform, which is called Globe AI. The way that we use it is we mount what we call an AI pod, which is a team used with agents and Glovers that are continuously and proactively supervising the result of the chatbots.
Sorry, what is Glovers?
Glovers is how we name our people.
Okay.
You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Glovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, our employees, let's say.
Okay.
So we have this in line, and this also this platform, internal platform that we use internally to build software. Is the new thing that we are doing. It not only copes with all the things that I was talking about, to the relationship with the stakeholder, to the process, to the compliance process and regulatory process, it also monitors and controls how much tokens our own people are using, and that's why we told that our deliverables are supervised objects, because our Glovers are continuously supervising that everything is okay within the process of development, you know. Mm-hmm.
But does it, super interesting.
It is not a plain agent per se,
There's always supervision.
Yeah, it's always with supervision of
Right.
our people, you know.
I'd like to dig on that because I think we use human supervision, obviously it's supposed to solve everything, but humans also suffer from some biases. Like when you're trying to revise something, your brain is not going to be all there, and the more you do it, the more stuff goes through. So sometimes it doesn't really work. I was wondering whether you've changed some processes to ensure this human oversight works, because I was reading not long ago some report on the software development life cycle that showed how AI is used, and I was surprised to see at the top architect and design, then writing code, and then more toward the bottom like Q&A and tech. And from working with my engineering team at MediaSmart, I remember that where they brought the most value, what they enjoyed the most, was precisely the designing, the architecture, the code, right? And then the Q&A and the review and all that, and the bug fixing, which was a lot of their time, was the dreadful part, right? So I wonder, and I know I'm thinking about engineering now, but it applies to other processes, how much the way we're looking at AI is not necessarily conducive of using the best of our human expertise and the best of the technology. Because I would think, ideally, you have the humans with the expertise, at the top driving the architecture, and especially if you want to differentiate yourselves through the software, which is not only what is done, but how it is done in terms of scalability. I would see it more the other way around. So I wonder, in an engineering organization like yours, you're also serving your engineers, right? What do you do to keep them at the top of their own development?
Well, it's a process. Today, writing code, it's almost costs nothing, because you could write the code, a big chunk of code, in almost 0 seconds. So the cost is practically nothing.
But then it's also not differentiating, right?
Well, yes, because the differentiation is with our engineers that checks that everything is doing the right way, that it complies with the test, that it complies with the customer is expecting, That's the way we are modeling it.
Okay. Any other?
Yeah, like software is commoditizing, right?
Right.
So I think in the past, building beautiful software was a differentiator. Now it's less and less, right? So it's the other parts of the business that become the...
So you don't think there's still any differentiator in actually how the software is?
No, no, there is, but like if it took you 3 years to reach it, somebody can reach it in 6 months, perhaps, right?
Of course.
So it's something for us, all of us that work in this space. It's good and bad, but it's more good than bad.
I think it also brings up a question that you touched on, but like, what is your moat? So if you're starting your company, how do you differentiate yourself?
Yeah.
What's your USP? If you're launching, okay, we launched an AI agent, why can't you? Well, because we have all the search data, all the customer domain expertise, et cetera. So you have to be very strategic, I guess, about what your moat will be if you're launching a new company now or a new product, and how can somebody not just generate all the code overnight or in 3 days to do the same thing that you are. Like, what's different about you? And be very clear about that.
Yeah. And that, because I see we have 2 minutes, baby.
That's my takeaway. Also, there you go. I gave you 2 in 1.
No, that is maybe a good point at which I can ask you to come up with one thing you would recommend. I know the conversation is very short, but that's what 30 minutes are about. To the builders in the room that are starting, what would be your one thing that you would want them to go away with?
I start. To the builders, just build. Don't wait for the perfect model. Don't wait for the perfect architecture. None of that exists, really. You need to build, you need to be focused, laser focused in execution, find a problem, figure out how to fix it, and deliver it. And also be very open your mind about how the technology is constantly changing, because your strategy needs room for that. Today, artificial intelligence beats learning capacity over everything. So you need to just go out and build.
Building on that, since we use the word build, validate it. So it's never been easier to build the MVP. So get started, get your MVP, and go to the market and actually get real feedback. So you have to get out of your own head, get out of the building, talk to your customers. What do you want? How can you use it? But also you need some discernment because they'll tell you 100 things that they want, and then they'll never use it. So be clear on what direction you're going, what you want to build, get the feedback along the way, and be good at deciphering what to listen to and what to put on hold.
Yeah, well, I think this is the best time to be alive. Because this is when we're living now, because in the end, you can iterate much faster, right? So in the end, even if software can be built really quickly, you still need to help somebody. Like,
Yep.
And you still need to have a business built around that. So it's much easier to do it and less costly. So it's the best time to start.
I will complete that by saying that I'd advise, obviously speed is needed, but also touching on what you were saying before, Nestor, is not just about building something super quick. We need to differentiate between an MVP and something that somebody can just vibe code, which any of us can, and what actually has to be verifiable and reliable as a product, right? And often we focus too much on the first. So I'd advise to take the whole thing into account. And with that, I think we're right on time, and we don't have time for questions. I'm sorry. But thank you very much. And now you can go to lunch.
Yeah.